Good. Hey, I'm Black Bible, editor-in-chief of GamerFitNation, and I just want to give you my perspective on something. I would like to see games from the PlayStation 2 era brought into the next generation, which is our generation, our current generation of gaming. There's a lot of games I felt like got left behind. I mean, I guess they were good for that era, but I mean, it would be cool if they can make it into this one. There's some games that deserve to be in this era, but got cheated due to some developers' stupid decisions. I'm gonna get to that later. But for right now, I'm gonna go in order, which I'm gonna start with The Suffering. The Suffering was a great title. I love that title. It was a good survival horror game with a unique story and a unique hero. The hero was an African-American man who went to prison for the murder of his family. Now, as far as the story goes, basically demons came and took over the prison, and you're trying to survive this. What made the story kind of cool and unique was you didn't really know if he actually killed his family or not, and there was 3 different ways the story could end depending on the decisions you made, which also added the element that there was a morality type of gameplay in it. Certain decisions you made along the way as far as the people you met, whether to help them or not help them, played a key and essential role in your main story. So that's one game I feel like if they don't make a remake of it into like the new era, they should at least consider I guess a reboot. Next title I would say is Freedom Fighters. Freedom Fighters was a really, really cool game. And nowadays they have games like it, but for those of you who don't know what Freedom Fighters is, it was a game where it was a team-based game. It was like third-person shooter, team-based strategy game, where pretty much the story was you were a plumber in New York, and the Germans invaded, like certain things in history didn't happen, so they ended up invading the United States, New York being the main point, and pretty much you're the resistance and you're trying to take back New York. And your goal was like to raise the American flag in different parts. It was such a cool game. It even set it up for a sequel, but there was no sequel. I mean, I believe that if we look at the Metacritic, I believe it still has a decent review score. And in this day and age, not only would that be a good game, but multiplayer. I mean, it screams multiplayer aspect to it. So that would be a cool game to bring into the new age. And I feel like Freedom Fighters deserves another shot. It has to be third person though. If they do say, oh, let's make a Freedom Fighters and make it first person, I'm gonna be pissed. There's too many first person games like that. Now, here's where it gets a little controversial. The next title I have would be my baby, Def Jam. The Def Jam franchise. Def Jam was murdered. It was never, to me, brought into this day and age. I made an arc on it, and you can probably check out my archive. I'll provide a link at the bottom, but Def Jam was murdered. I'm sorry. Def Jam, the first game, was a game that, you know what, if some rapper was to come up to you, a developer, or try to, sell it to you as a person who plays fighting games and say, hey, I'd like to make a fight wrestling type game, this and that. You look at them like, no, I'm sorry, I really don't want that game because you would think it would be horrible. But somebody gave it a shot, and somebody did it right. It was a really good game. So good, they made a sequel that was 10 times better. Def Jam Fight for New York is considered one of the best, like, over-the-top type fighter games around. I mean, to this day, I have people really wishing they had a remake of that game. And then, you would have thought it would end it there, but all of a sudden, we got the announcement of a really, really shitty game. It was Def Jam Icons. I don't give a damn what any of you seen. That game was horrible compared to the Def Jam Fight to New York. I only played one person personally. I would love to debate him one day, and that's Kodo. If you don't know who Kodo is, he's the person behind Fight Night Round 3. Like I said, I was talking about Def Jam. Def Jam Icon was crap. I don't care what you say. I mean, it's my opinion, and I believe most most people agree with my opinion, especially those people who play Def Jam Fight for New York. Most of those guys agree with the fact that Def Jam icons was garbage compared to Fight for New York. I personally blame Cole because after listening to an interview he did, he said something about certain aspects that didn't make sense to him, which was the fact that hip hop rap stars, why would rap stars fight each other and this and that? That makes no sense. Whatever. It's a fucking game that's not supposed to make sense. You know what I mean? So excuse my French, but it's a game it's a game about rappers fighting. There's no really, way you're gonna really make sense of that. Like, how did Danny Terrio end up beating up Lil Kim in the bathroom stall? Well, it doesn't matter. It's a game. You're supposed to have fun. You're supposed to be over the top. You grab a bottle, you smash it over somebody's head. You get a blaze move, you throw them up 20 feet in the air, you bring them down, and you love the damn game. That's what it's supposed to be about. But, of course, somebody had to put logic into it, some type of logic that really wasn't great logic because it was flawed. And then we get this whole, I'm gonna make the music beat, like I'm gonna make the music drop. Yo, and if you didn't have it, you didn't have the momentum. Oh, I took the momentum back. And that was the whole fighting game. That was stupid. And I'm sorry, I'll debate you, brother. I think that was stupid. I would love to meet you though. You're one guy I didn't meet yet. I would love to meet you. Anyway. Well, it's bad because I really do feel like game deserves another chance. I mean, I even spoke to a couple of people who work for EA. I don't believe they have the licensing to do that type of title again. But I spoke to them, and you can see it. There's a couple of guys who played Def Jam and loved the game, and of course they're not going to say anything about icons, but what they're going to say is they wish they had another Fight for New York game title. I mean, it's needed, especially in this market where fighting games are very limited. There's not really that many good fighting games out there that you actually want to play. I mean, you have Mortal Kombat, you have Street Fighter, or pretty much anything that says Capcom, and Soul Calibur, but that's really it. So I feel like Def Jam deserves another chance to make it to this day and age and this generation. Lastly, I just want to put this on note. One game that shouldn't make it into this generation is The Bouncer. Now, Gregory Report brought this up. I just want to bring this up. The Bouncer's garbage. End of story. I have nothing more to say on that. Moving on. So the recap. The Suffering is a great game that should be brought into this day and age. I hope you guys who have backwards compatible PS3s, go check out that game. And also, if you do have a backwards compatible PS3, pick up Freedom Fighters. I mean, I know graphically, we've grown past these type of games, but for what they are, if you look at it for what it is, and if you try to see it for as a classic of its time, you'll learn to appreciate it. You'll be able to play through it and understand why I feel like this game should be modernized. Same thing goes with Def Jam. Def Jam is just something that needs to be in our generation. It's just simple as that. It's just as simple as that. It should be in our generation. Let me know if you have other titles that you feel that should be in this generation. I would love to hear them. If you disagree with my thoughts, especially about Def Jam, let me know. There's a few games within the PlayStation 2 history that kind of taught us how to really enjoy games as far as story, as far as complexity, as far as sitting down, before multiplayer became this big thing. I mean, before like online became a big part of gameplay, it was a single player experience that really crafted our desire for story. And that's kind of slipping away with the new, online market, like Modern Warfare and all that. These games have a great story, but you don't give a damn about the story. You only care about the multiplayer. So I like to bring you guys back to the point where we cared about the story, the gameplay, and that single player experience. And some aspects of the multiplayer. Tell me what you think.